Hello, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines, and today I'm really looking forward to talking about the new moon solar eclipse that we have coming on October 2nd, 2024. It's going to be a new moon at 10 degrees of Libra, and there's some really, of course, beautiful and powerful energies in this eclipse that I'm really looking forward to dropping into with you. And in particular, the thing the most alive for me, that I'm the most excited about in this new moon and this eclipse, is the energy of Salacia, the Kuiper Belt being. So that's the main thing I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to bring in a few other things, but I'm feeling really called to channel a message regarding Salacia, and specifically regarding a theme around quantum wholeness, quantum oneness, and relationship that's based in the reality of our quantum wholeness and just our wholeness in general. So that's what I'm going to get to in a minute. But first, I'm going to drop into, I'll channel that part of the message, whatever's wanting to come through. But I want to just show you a little bit of the astrology and also where this new moon is going to be in the sky and where Salacia is going to be in the sky, where she is in the sky. She's there for quite a while. She's in the constellation of Pegasus, actually. She's in the sign of Aries, but in the constellation of Pegasus. So anyway, I'm going to kind of show you those little factual things and then say a little bit about what I'm feeling in all of it. And then I'm just going to let the spirit world speak. Okay. So first, let me show you the chart of the solar eclipse. All right. And if you haven't signed up yet and want to go more deeply into this eclipse stuff with my support, then feel free to sign up for my Sacred Eclipse Journey. We had one live and recorded gathering already. We're having a second one on October 1st, which is the day before the second eclipse. So it's still available. You can still sign up if that's calling to you. But all right, so here is the chart of the new moon. So it's, again, a new moon, 10 degrees, 3 minutes of Libra on the south node, which is at 6 degrees of Libra. And conjunct this new moon near the moon and the sun is Makemake, Kuiper Belt object, Black Moon Lilith, Estrella, all at 10 degrees of Libra. And also then Mercury at 11 degrees of Libra. So very, very, very close. Then opposite all of that is, exactly opposite the new moon, is Salacia, this Kuiper Belt object. I mean, almost to the minute, 10 degrees, 5 minutes of Aries. And the new moon is at 10 degrees, 3 minutes of Libra. Also not too far is Lele Akuhanua, that Oort cloud being who I've talked about many times. And then again, the north node is at 6 degrees of Aries, etc. So Salacia is near the north node of the moon. And the north node is not too far also from Neptune in Pisces. Okay. And then another thing, a couple of other things. Ceres, the dwarf planet, is almost exactly squaring the new moon at the time of this eclipse. Ceres was also squaring the nodes at the full moon. So Ceres is a really big player right now in all kinds of ways, and she's definitely a big player in this solar eclipse too. And then another couple of things happening astrologically around the time of this new moon solar eclipse are that Jupiter is going to be going retrograde just a few days after this eclipse, and Pluto is going to be going direct. So I'm going to come out of and take down this raised hand that is here somehow. Yeah, okay. Uh, so Jupiter is going to be going retrograde at 21 degrees of Gemini on October 9th. So exactly 1 week after this eclipse. And Pluto is going to be going direct, it barely is tipping. It went back into Capricorn, but barely, like not even half a degree. And then it's going to be going direct at 29 degrees, 38 minutes of Capricorn on October 11th. So 2 days after Jupiter goes retrograde at 21 Gemini, Pluto goes direct at 29 Capricorn. Okay, so there's those two. So within a week, 9 days of this new moon eclipse, there's this pretty big shift of energies, both with Jupiter going retrograde and then Pluto going direct. And as Pluto's going direct, it's heading toward, it's so close to being in Aquarius. It's not even half a degree away from Aquarius. And as it goes direct, then it's like it's done its time in Capricorn. And now it's like, okay, I'm heading that way. And it will enter Aquarius on November 19th. So we have from October 11th to November 19th, when Pluto is going direct, heading back toward Aquarius. So that's what, a little over a month, like 5-ish weeks, when the energy is like right this minute as I'm recording this video before October 11th, we still have Pluto going retrograde. So it's still an energy of us being kind of pulled back to, wow, now I'm getting fireworks. That is amazing. Interesting. Wow, that's so funny. Uh yeah. Okay. Right. So at this minute, apparently it's very exciting and the fireworks are exclaiming something about that. Yeah, that we're still being pulled back in this energy of Pluto, and we're still like in this sort of reassessing. What do we want to do to be shifting, to be changing, in this time when Pluto is giving us one more little moment, 2.5 months, one more little time of Pluto being in Capricorn before we really, October 11th, Pluto goes direct and moves toward its 20-year time in Aquarius, which it'll start on November 19th. But this solar eclipse happens while Pluto is still retrograde, right? But so we have like 9 days after the new moon before Pluto goes direct. Um, so something that's really interesting astrologically about this solar eclipse is that there's many examples of both a pulling back energy and a start. And so it's kind of this sense of needing to hold the both and, because this is for example, it's a new moon, which is a starting kind of an energy, but it's on the south node, which is a releasing energy. And we have Pluto still going retrograde, but it's about to go direct. And we have Jupiter going direct, but about to go retrograde. So, and there's lots of other examples I could name, but just you get the idea. It's like, that's how life works, right? It's not linear. It's not, we do this one thing and then we're done. We're in a continual motion, continual process. But overall, I would say astrologically, this solar eclipse is very, very powerfully a beginning, but it's a beginning while we're ending, and it's a beginning while we're letting go, and it's a moving forward while we're letting go also, right? So it's this combination of energies, and really important for us to be able to hold the totality of it. Yeah, okay. And then I want to show you where in the sky this eclipse new moon is, because that's also really important to me. Oh, not Not correct. One second. All right. So here's Stellarium, which again is a free website. You can use it yourself anytime. So here is the sun and the moon. This is the time of the new moon on October 2nd. You can put in any date you want, any time you want here. And so this is October 2nd, 2024. And you can see here's the sun, here's the moon, and here's Mercury. They're all together. And they're all in the sign of Libra, but the constellation of Virgo, or the priestess, or the goddess. I've actually recently learned not only is this constellation called the priestess, you could also call it the goddess constellation, which I actually love. I kind of want to call it the goddess constellation. And you can see Venus over here, which will by then be in the sign of Scorpio, but entering the constellation of Libra. And Libra is the scales, which actually used to be part of the constellation of Virgo, because the scales are what the goddess is holding as the Lady of Justice. So so in a sense, you could say Venus is still in the part of the sky that's really this goddess constellation, and the the aspect of her being holding the scales of justice, like the goddess Ma'at in Egyptian mythology. And the constellation of Virgo is associated with so many different goddesses and so many different aspects of the divine feminine. Among them are Ceres, or Demeter, the mother of Persephone. That myth is very associated with this constellation. So, if you think about Ceres and Persephone, one thing that's really interesting is that in the Northern Hemisphere, this constellation will disappear from view around the time of the year when Ceres is said to have created, the death of the crops, right? Which that's really interesting. And then it reappears at the time of spring, which is around the time when Persephone comes back up to the upper world. And so anyway, so there's definitely this association of this Virgo constellation with the birth and death cycle of the earth, and with our connection to the earth. And of course, Virgo, the sign, has a lot to do with our connection to the earth. It's an earth sign. But the constellation of Virgo, which overlays the end of the sign of Virgo, the entirety of the sign of Libra, and the beginning of the sign of Scorpio. So it's a humongous constellation. It's the second biggest constellation in the sky. The only one that's bigger is Hydra. So it's a really large constellation. And it holds this energy of both our relationship to the power of the divine feminine and our relationship to the earth. And of course, the two very much go together. But in general, there's this whole set of energy with regard to the Virgo constellation that's, for me, so much about embodiment of ourselves as the feminine, and of these goddesses, the goddess energy in general, that has been very forgotten, all the things, right? So yeah, so that's where this new moon is taking place, is in this constellation of the goddess. That is pretty clear. That says a lot without me saying anything else. Yeah, clearly, there's this energy of us remembering ourselves as the goddess. Whatever our gender identity is, we all have this goddess energy, and the world has goddess energy, and it's been decimated. It's been very hurt, just like the divine masculine has been as well. And so everything's been very out of whack, very out of balance. And now we're trying to come back into that balance, which actually has very much to do with Libra energy too. But I would say for me, this energy is not so much about just thinking about balance, it's thinking about the embodiment of balance and the embodiment of what it is to be fully ourselves as the feminine, in addition to ourselves as the positive masculine. Yes, okay. And then I want to show you Salacia at the time of this new moon as well. And Salacia is, in the Kuiper belt, so she moves very, very slowly. And so she's sitting here in the constellation of Pegasus for quite a long time. So she's here in the constellation of Pegasus for this new moon, but she's there for a long, long, long time. So she's technically in the sign. If you look on an astrology chart, she's in the sign of Aries, 10 degrees of Aries, but she's actually right above the constellation of Pisces and right in the middle of the constellation of Pegasus, pretty near. Almost, she's actually very close to the area where the constellation of Pegasus connects with the constellation of Andromeda. And Pegasus was, part of the mythology of rescuing Andromeda, et cetera, et cetera. That's a whole topic. But if we even just drop into the magic of Pegasus and what that represents for each of us individually, collectively, there's just a lot of magic there. So Salacia is right in there. And she's opposite the new moon, which means she's in a dance with this new moon energy, with the goddess, right? If you think about the goddess and Pegasus and the dance that they might be doing together in the sky, that is very, very alive at the time of this eclipse. Okay. So now I just want to say a little bit about Salacia, and then I'll go into this channeling, brief channeling. So Salacia, again, is a Kuiper belt object. She is in mythology the wife of Neptune, and I've talked about Salacia a lot with Kelly Hunter, and actually with Pam Gregory, and maybe Keone and I mentioned Salacia. Anyway, yeah, and maybe I probably talked about her with Heather Ensworth too. Anyway, so lots of people talk about Salacia. I love Salacia. Salacia is one of my favorite beings in all of this. And among other things, when I think of Salacia, the image that comes up for me and what I feel in my body is a whole, like my body comes alive. So she is a water nymph, and when I think of her, I think of sacred sexuality, but on a quantum level. So I recently have been channeling a series of 4 videos that are part of the Wholeness Way series, but are a subset of, they're called the Love series. And I've already channeled and put on my YouTube channel 2 of them, which a lot of you have watched. So the first one was on unconditional love. The second one was on radical forgiveness. And then the third one, which I'm going to be channeling before this eclipse happens, because it's so related to the energies of this eclipse, I think that's why it's coming through now, is going to be on sacred sexuality. And so I think what's going to happen is today I'm going to channel just a little taste of, there's going to be a whole video just on sacred sexuality. And I have a feeling that the Salacia energy and maybe something else will be what really carries that video and really comes through more powerfully in there. So I think I'm going to channel just a brief taste of probably what's going to come through in that video. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably channel that in the next week, definitely before this eclipse, because yeah, like the energy is ready to come through. I can feel it in the next few days, because I think it's, again, I think this solar eclipse is kind of like a portal for these energies to move through into the world and into our beings and, wake it back up in us. So yeah, so I'll mostly just let the spirit world speak now. But Salacia for me is really about, she's associated with the ocean. She's associated with this salt of the sea. And so Neptune, her husband, her husband is associated with a more ethereal energy, more of the like the Piscean, Neptunian essence of things. But Salacia is, if you think about salt, it's crystallized. It's a crystalline form, right? And so I think of her Salacia energy as being both ethereal. It's the divine embodied in a crystalline form as earth. So really magical. Like there's something about the Salacia energy that for me can help us support us to go into quantum levels. And so when we're thinking about a new moon in Libra on the south node in Libra, opposite Salacia in Aries, there's something in that is so powerfully about supporting us to both be letting go of old ways, old structures of how we've done relationship, how we've been in relationship even with ourselves, and then anchoring into what the spirit world is calling quantum wholeness and the quantum aliveness of the oneness, the wholeness that we are, and anchoring deeply into that so that when we come into relationship, whatever that looks like for us, either relationship within ourselves or relationship with another human or, life in general, we're doing it from the structure of our own being that is whole unto itself. Salacia in Aries, quantum wholeness, oneness, Aries. But on this quantum level, right? Like not just Aries as in me, I am, but Salacia and Aries for me holds, and in Pegasus, the constellation of Pegasus, holds this magical quantum energy of, I am whole unto myself, but I'm actually also part of the quantum structures of the all that is. So it takes it up like mega notches, mega levels. And then we engage with ourselves, and we can engage then with others, quote unquote, or with life from that quantum realm, the wholeness that is us, but as quantum beings, which means being embodied, fully grounded and embodied, and this whole other level of awareness and of embodiment of who we are. So yeah, I feel like that's a little, it'll maybe come through better when I channel, and even better when I do the full deep dive into that channeled video that I'm going to do in the next week on sacred sexuality. Okay, so let me see what wants to come through. Thank you, as always, for listening. And as always, I would love your thoughts also. Okay. Okay, hello and welcome. So yes, I am here as this being, this energetic of Salacia. And as Martha said, I will channel in much more in-depth, powerful way in a whole video very soon to hold space for this quantum level of sacred sexuality and quantum level of wholeness. And so today I just want to give a brief taste of touch on some things that I hope I can support us all in remembering. And in what is available and alive, and what I am here holding space for at the time of this new moon and this solar eclipse, in whatever way is just right for you. So I want to say, often when we think of the mythology associated with me, with Neptune, there can be a tendency maybe to default to associating me as a demure, sweet water nymph, like a mermaid kind of an energy that would just be somewhat secondary to the powerful god of the sea, Neptune. But I want to say more about this another time, but I want to just touch on the reality that I am powerful and grounded, and I have a humongous wisdom in and of me that is something that Neptune can't really embody, because he's not me and he's not the feminine. He's an embodiment of a divine masculine energy. So my energy is embodying as a divine feminine, as me, that is not demure or submissive to him or his energy. I am full and complete in and of myself and in my own right. And so I want to name that, because I want you to have the opportunity to feel that in you as well, because I am, of course, you, and you are me, and we are all of these energies. So you are Neptune, you are me, you are everything. And there's not a good or a bad or a right or a wrong or a better or a worse. But I am fully embodied as me. And again, I'll come back to this more in another video, or even multiple videos over time. So just to begin, just to briefly touch on this, and then I'll continue in the next video. Part of what I embody and hold space for is the reality of life as quantum embodiment of sacred sexuality, of earth and ocean and spirit and light, all dancing, and in a sense, even making love as me, as you, as the life forms of existence, as the power of what love and life really actually are, that form everything. And it is crucial. So my time in the sign of Aries, and also in the constellation of Pegasus, above the constellation of Pisces, is really a time when I am able to support you and all of life to be coming fully back into what it is to be grounded as you. And Aries is in a polarity, in a dance with Libra. So it's Aries is an energy of embodying fully and completely you. And that embodiment is in service of also being in a dance with others in relationship. So it's not about being embodied as you and then staying forever as an island necessarily, although that could be one manifestation if you choose, or if that happens to be in your highest interest, but that's really not the point. I am the consort, the wife of Neptune. I am in its dance of relationship, but again, in this quantum level, embodied fully, completely in all of who I am, my full complete power, my full deep wisdom, the overflowing, powerful love that is me. And I can stay grounded and rooted in that reality as I then also, in the right timing, choose to be in relationship with myself and with any other or others who are in my absolute highest good to be in relationship with. So in the next video, I will hold space for this to become more and more deeply alive. But for now, I just want to touch on this and to name that this is the grounding of what relationship needs to be, can be. Again, I'm near the north node of the moon in Aries. And so even as you come into this new moon in Libra, in the constellation of the goddesses, Virgo, priestess, there's this need and this opportunity for your anchor, north node, your anchor to be in the totality, the wholeness, the oneness, the quantum embodiment and wholeness of who you actually are. It's crucial that you fully, deeply ground in that on every level, perhaps before or certainly as you are then also in relationship with an other or others. So that's the opportunity of this new moon, this solar eclipse. And I'm so deeply honored and grateful to be holding this space, to be present, and to have the opportunity to speak as you, for you, with you, to be in this dance as this solar system with you as earth and light and the crystalline structures of existence, just like me. I will see you again very soon. Thank you so much. And so it is. Amen. All right. It's kind of a teaser taster, I guess, but I'll channel that more in-depth video very soon. And it'll be here on my YouTube channel very soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, in the meantime, I would love, love, love any of your thoughts, any of your reflections, any of your questions. Yeah. Share anything here in the comments anytime. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please, please, please subscribe. Totally free to subscribe. If you want to be a member of the channel, feel free to do that for as little as $2 a month. All the things. If you want to join the sacred eclipse journey, feel free to do that. Still available. And actually also on October 8th, just as so you know, I'm going to actually be hosting Kelly Hunter, who's going to be doing a workshop on Kuiper Belt. So we don't have the sales page ready yet, but just so you know, it's coming on October 8th. And if you're interested in that, stay tuned for that. I'll say more about that soon. Yeah, if you haven't signed up for the Wholeness Way series, that's completely free. Please do that. That link is here. It's available forever and for you as a gift. So please, please, please access that if it calls to you. And yeah, more to come soon. Thank you again so, so much.